Hey everybody, this is Angel. Welcome to the Pagan Perspective. I am your Thursday host for Subsweek. And I want to say I'm sorry this video is getting up a little bit late. It is Samhain, and although I feel very blessed to be making a video on Samhain, it's been sort of chaotic. So I apologize for the late upload and the chaos that's going on around me. I have my two cats in here because two of my cats in here because they have to be in the room I'm in, and they were tearing up the door and we're putting in some floors in our house, so everything's kind of everywhere. So I feel a little frazzled. I apologize up front. That's why I wrote everything down. So I am going to be reading from this with a little bit going off script, but it's going to help me keep focused because again, I'm a little scatterbrained. The question is protection for what? And I don't know, I wrote this down, I copied this, and I'm not sure if it's from Wisp and Whimsy. I can't tell, I apologize. But the question is, while paging through Pinterest and going through pagan YouTube videos, I've noticed that there are a lot of protection subjects. Drawing circles, using runes, creating spell jars, incantations or incense and rituals, all with the intent to give the practitioner protection from something. What is this malevolent force that we are trying to protect ourselves from? Do you, meaning who's answering, make protections a large part of your practice? Yes, very much so. I'm going to touch on the specific subjects in the question, what I use them as for in regards to protection. But I think in the world today that we live in, there's a monstrous amount of negativity flying around from people, and it's just drenched in the air. It's fear, anger, hatred, intolerance, indifference, what have you. And they're sending it out into the world, the universe, and I don't know that it is actually intentionally sent towards one person or just in general. Because it's really hard to be positive every single minute of every single day, even though we try, which is great. But, you know, when you think it, you know, it starts a vibration. So, anyways, negativity is like smoke. You know, this is the way I think of it. It's like smoke, and it seeps into everywhere, and it's not, you know, it doesn't target. It just kind of goes wherever it goes. So, whenever I'm doing spells or rituals or what have you, protection is a huge part of my practice, my workings, to keep my mind and my spirit and my surroundings in a neutral or spiritually sound space. So the first thing was drawing circles. Protection with drawing a circle has always been a primer for my practice, at least in the ritual part of it. Even spells, sometimes depending on what kind of spell it is, I will draw a circle. I don't every time, because I do have, although my altar is a little discombobulated, but I do have altars that I bless and consecrate. To me, that is like a constant circle. It's a neutral, it creates a neutral and cleansed space. It clears out negativity of any form, and it keeps it into a stable state of stasis, if you will. To me, when you draw a circle, or it's a lot like trying to cook in a dirty kitchen. If you do not saying everybody has to do this. For me, if I don't, you know, draw a circle to do a protection on when I'm doing certain things, I feel like I am in a dirty kitchen trying to cook a meal. I get frustrated, angry, distracted, the food doesn't come out right, I'm not happy, and that's how my magic turns out. So for me, casting a circle is like working in a clean kitchen. I'm so sorry. Okay, runes. For me, runes, much like talisman and amulets, have been used for the purpose at one point or another for protection. They're infused extensions of my magic and sometimes an amplifier. It may be a protection for flying, moving into a new home, something to protect me while I'm driving. Bad drivers aren't necessarily malevolent, although in New England, that's a little questionable. But protecting yourself from an accident is just being a responsible witch. And protecting yourself from, you know, potential health issues, or just maybe you're around somebody who's really negative and you don't want it to kind of latch onto you. I think that's just, you know, using your power for what it's supposed to be used for, protecting you and aiding you in living a happy and balanced life. Now, spell jars. They're infused items with many components. Not necessarily every component in the spell jar is all protection, but some are. I have 2 jars in my home, however, only one's for protection. So for me, they have multiple uses. I have one that's for my relationship, and it may have some protection stuff in it. I did a long time ago, so I'm not really sure, but I definitely have one for my home, but that's not necessarily just for like a negative person. It could be, I don't want a tree to fall on my house. I don't want a storm to knock out, you know, windows or tear up the roof. You know, I don't want somebody to, you know, steal anything out of my house or break into my house, because I don't want them to hurt my animals either. And so there's lots of different negativity you can protect yourself from, not just actual people. And fire, you know, as well. So incantations. Now, incantations for me, they're words of power, words of protection. For me, they're like a shield that you speak. They can protect you and shield you. In my opinion, they can create sort of a barrier of protection, if that's how you so choose to use them. If I'm dealing with something darker than I'm used to, I will use a protection incantation to help me until I'm done with whatever I'm doing. Granted, I generally don't work with anything dark. I just don't have, that's not my strong suit. Although I don't knock anybody for it, I just know that that's beyond something I can handle dealing with. So I generally don't do that. Okay, incense. Like herbs that become incense, all things have properties, endowments placed on them by humans that felt these properties fit because of how burning them made them feel. So even if a particular incense states as protection properties, but you burn it and you feel loved or spiritually open, then that's the purpose you can use it for. For example, I use amber for protection, and I also use sage for cleansing and protecting, sort of consecrating, but also protecting. So I think with herbs and incenses, I don't always play by what the books say. I always use it and see what it makes me feel. So it doesn't always coincide with the general terms or the general usage or properties of it has. And that's not a bad thing. You're using your intuition, and that's a good thing. Rituals. I absolutely have used rituals for protection. I've done rituals to protect the earth from what mankind's doing to it. I've done rituals to protect animals that suffer in labs, mills, and fighting rings. I've done rituals to protect ones I love from health issues. I've done protection spells on my home when I was getting married. Protection spells to protect, people traveling to come see me. I mean, there's lots of different things I've used protection spells for in ritual. I know the web is full of ways to protect yourself from everything under the sun. And I think that's a great thing, because when I started out on this path, there wasn't a whole lot of resources, so I think it's amazing that we have so many. Although sometimes we take it for granted, that's for sure. And most of it is general protection information, but I really think that protection, whatever it is, can be generalized and used interchangeably. So for me, the world is about balance, light and dark, life and death, negative and positive. So we know the world is full of negativity. It's unfortunate, and there are many of us who try to combat that every day, and that's the positive that needs to be there. So I think when you use protection to keep yourself safe from the negativity, that is your positive part of you doing that, and there's the balance. So for me, protection is a huge part of my practice. That's always been, will always be. I think that sometimes you need to even use protection to protect yourself from yourself. What I mean by that is, when I cast circle or draw circle, and I know that is a cleansed and neutral space, if I know that my mind's not completely right walking into the ritual, once I do that, or I walk into a consecrated space, then I spiritually and emotionally feel that whatever I was having issues with is sort of left outside circle. So protection of any use of magic can be for any kind of protection. Everything from a tree falling on your house to, driving, being protected while you're driving, protecting your loved ones from getting sick and what have you. So yes, I don't necessarily think there's a malevolent thing out there, although I guess it could be argued that negativity as a mass could be considered a negative or malevolent thing. To me, I'm not sure how many of y'all seen Fern Gully. It came out, I think, in the early 90s. It's a cartoon. It's about the rainforest. There's like this smoke that is so evil and bad and dark, and it sort of goes everywhere. Not sure if it's smoke, it might be oil, but I'm saying smoke right now because I think that's what it is. To me, that's what negativity is. It kind of just, it's there, and it kind of just goes, and I guess it could be considered a malevolent thing. So anyways, again, sorry I'm not all woo! I'm super tired and not feeling good. So I hope everybody has a great Samhain and is safe, and has wonderful rituals and has a wonderful time with their friends and family. And until next time, I will see you guys, and blessed be. Bye.